Hello, once more, good morning and welcome to your Monday tonic. Say it loud with Prince Evance on Zanders 105.7. How was your week? I'm sure you were really good. You enjoyed yourself, you observed all the COVID-19 codes, social distancing, masking your face where necessary, and all that. Oh well, here at Zanders 105.7, we try to observe the rules too, and we believe we shall overcome. Wow, today's program, our topic is lockdown of schools, effects on the educational system. Lockdown of schools, effects on the educational system. And my guest is the very respectable Dr. Mrs. Maole Barra, an educationist by excellence, somebody whose voice you hear on almost every popular radio program. A wonderful woman. Madam, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
You are really good, eh? How was your week?
It was wonderful.
Great. As usual, our calling number is 081-606-36187. So when it's time, we shall open the phone lines, and when you want to call, please try and be civil and be as brief as possible. Okay. Madam, our schools have been locked down now in the last 5 months, am I right?
Yeah.
And what's your view, what's your opinion?
Well, it's really sad and very unfortunate that our children have been locked out of school for the past 5 months. They're just left like sheep without shepherd, wandering aimlessly, recklessly, without a directing hand. Very, very unfortunate and worrisome. This lockdown has exposed this government how ill-prepared it is with the current realities and dynamics on ground. It's really painful that our children, the future leaders of tomorrow, are left toying with the education of our children. Education is the bedrock of every development. And these our children are now wandering left to run rust
On the
streets, being left to wander and without direction, being exposed to all manner of ills,
yes, evil
all
voices.
manner of danger,
Yes.
all manner of evil in the society.
Yes.
Some of them have resorted to hawking. Some of them are raped, or every day we keep hearing news of one rape or the other because government failed to do the needful. Every day it comes up with one. In fact, can I say this government is confused, sort of, because it comes up with guidelines, unimplementable ones, that children should go back to. How can children go back to school when the modalities have not been put in place? How do you expect our children to expose them to this danger of COVID? Nobody wants our children to die. But this government, the attitude, I don't know exactly what they want to achieve by all this their behavior. Go to our schools. The decay, the infrastructural decay in our schools is nothing to write home about.
Okay, Doc, before we go there,
Okay.
let me ask you this question. You said the government is ill-equipped, ill-prepared. You know, if you were the Minister for Education, what would you do differently?
Okay. If I were, there are certain things that could have been done. Okay, how many of our schools have boreholes? How many? Government is looked up for the provision of all these infrastructures in school. Every 31st December, we observe hand washing. How many of these schools observe hand washing? How many have boreholes in their schools? How do we observe hand washing when these schools are just left at the mercy of children who have nothing to do than to get involved in what they have seen on the ground? Okay, online learning.
Okay.
All other countries involved their children in online learning, but here we are. How do we have electricity? Where is the power? Where are the infrastructures for these things for the government, for the teachers to carry on with teaching and learning? Our children are left doing nothing, absolutely nothing. They are engaged in all manner of else. So many of them always playing with their phones, they are not browsing things that are academically engaging. They browse things that destroy their psyche. Browsing pornography, things that are not academically useful to them. Every day they're on Facebook, they're on WhatsApp, without control. They now have access to all the pornographic sites. Look at BB Nigeria now. They're now glued. No control. Everybody is doing whatever he likes in this country. Is it the way to go? Is it the right way? It's really
that's not the right way, and that's not the way to go. Dr. Mrs. Mawalebera. Now, the COVID-19 took everybody unaware, the whole world.
Yeah.
If you remember, in 1919, it was a Spanish flu that claimed millions of lives.
Yeah.
You know, and then now in our own time, it's the coronavirus, you know, that has come to play. A pandemic that did not give any alarming notice. So the whole world is abreast at this. Yeah. But the question now is, in some other climes, they have been able to resort to e-learning, like you said. They have devised other method of teaching the children at home than allowing them to become street urchins. You know, in those days of ours, I went to school in Lagos. We used to have the morning and afternoon section. You know, because there were not too many schools.
We were also having it in this state.
Okay, there were not too many schools in Lagos at that time until Alhaji Jakande came building schools and stopped it. So, would you think that would be a panacea to the situation? These schools must open in order to make sure the number of students are reduced in the class.
Yeah, I think it's a right move if we are to implement it. But you know, one thing is making this proposal and the other is implementing it. Come to any doubting Thomas should visit our schools and see the decay, the level of decay in those schools. Those schools are not supposed to have our children there. But okay, in a class that is supposed to have 15 to 20 pupils or students with one teacher, we have over. I retired some years back, and what I saw in our educational system was nothing to write home about. In a class, we have 3 classes merged together, classes of 50. You have almost 220, 150 students in one class. Wow. With one teacher, no microphone. They're all clustered, sweating. How can learning take place under such a situation? How can our children learn in an environment that is not conducive? It's not possible. But if we can now say, okay, morning, afternoon, morning, we build more schools, equip more schools.
That's right.
Put chairs, tables, in a situation that one student can stay in one table, one chair.
I can observe a little distance.
And observe a little bit in a situation where they cluster together. Cluster together without consideration to the health of these children. It's really painful and worrisome.
Yes, painful and worrisome.
Sure.
But I also worry that the churches and the mosque have also reopened. Every Sundays and almost every day, church programs are going on, and Fridays and whatever, the mosques are open. And then, yet schools are locked down.
I'm not happy that our children are at home when they're supposed to be in schools learning. It pains me as an educationist.
Yes.
It pains me as a mother. It pains me as one who, as a stakeholder. I'm in pains. But we cannot expose our children to die. These, you are talking of school, churches and more. These are adults. They can observe social distancing, physical distancing, put on their face masks, do what they're supposed to do. But these ones, reopening schools will be counterproductive. These children, how do you expect them to observe social distancing? It will be counterproductive. These children will like to hug their face. You can't control them. There's no way you can stop them from joining, even hugging their colleagues, their classmates, their friends. Oh, you are back. It's difficult. But in churches, it's easy to observe. You can observe. You know what is at stake. You can observe and say, okay, life is at stake. But these ones, it's difficult. Unless we put the right modalities in check, we cannot expose our children to this danger. Nobody wants to lose a child. No parent will be happy that he sent his child to school to learn and
the child probably died
yes,
there.
No.
But, madam, I look, comparing other ailments that are endemic to our society, such as malaria, Lassa fever is gradually becoming endemic. In the Guinea and some other southeast countries, you have Ebola, Ceylon, and these are even more dangerous, diseases than the pandemic called coronavirus. So, society has not been closed down all that while in those parts of Africa.
Yeah, because really, we have had Ebola, we have had
Lassa
fever and all those. But the death rate was not, you can't compare it to what we are observing now in COVID-19. Look at other countries of the world. How many people, how many lives we have lost. So you cannot compare it to that number.
Dr. Mrs. Malibra.
Yeah.
I have it that malaria, which is very, very endemic to Africa, because Africa is a hot sun, kills about 10,000 African people every year.
Yes.
Every year. Since the inception of coronavirus, Africa has not recorded up to 10,000. So what do you say about that? And life goes on.
You see, in that of malaria, there are precautions that people have been taking to prevent malaria. Prevention, they say, is better than cure. There are certain things people do to prevent themselves from, keeping the environment clean, avoiding all this gutter water and all that, keeping the surroundings clean, and taking anti-malaria drugs, even though some of them are fake. All these things, they have been observed. In fact, it has become part of us.
Okay, that's why we say it's endemic.
Yes, we are not living with
we now live with it. It has become part of us. Because should malaria find its way into the tropical countries of Europe or South Africa, I'm sure they will declare all the shops closed and schools closed also. But I am still worried. Dr. Mrs. Malibra, that's, like you said, our children are gradually become street urchins. Our children are getting into vices they shouldn't probably have ordinarily gone into because of the school's lockdown. Though you are not in support of the school's lockdown, but your worry is that you are scared of children going back to school because the system, things have not been put in place.
Yes, government has not come up with what it's supposed to do. Okay, for instance, if it is election now, I'm seeing what is happening in Edo and Ondo all these days. If the election is taking place today, see the amount of money they will pump into those states.
Okay.
And federal might, military action, but let that money be pumped into our educational system. Look at all the money spent daily on our lawmakers. Jumbo allowances, provocative remuneration, and SUV cars, so many spending on frivolities, things that cannot help this society. These people are just making us dry. If government can put those money into our educational system, in fact, we are going. All these things we are talking about could have been a thing of the past. Every day that bringing one guideline, or put clinic in school, put this, do that, unimplementable guidelines. Why can't government pump money into, how much is budgeted? UNESCO says 26% of budget should go into education. Has this government ever budgeted one quarter of that money for education? Just toying with lives of with the glorious destinies of our children, and we are here talking about.
But I understand the government is fumigating schools, especially the federal schools. Probably.
Fumigating schools alone is not the answer.
Okay.
It's not. Government is supposed to okay, let's talk about the health sector. Government is supposed to pump money into health. Go to our rural communities. How many functional hospitals do we have there? Government is supposed to pump money, equip at least one functional hospital in every local government area, and ensure that in case of any eventuality,
yes,
these children can be rushed to these hospitals with qualified nurses and doctors to take care of these children. But what do we have here? Just every day they will come up with one guideline. Tomorrow they counter it. Tomorrow they bring another one. What type of confused government is this?
Okay.
Are we talking about?
Okay. Listeners at home, you're on to Zanders FM 105.7, and the topic today is lockdown on schools, the effect on educational system. Lockdown schools, the effect on the educational system. My guest is Dr. Mrs. Ma Olebera. Dr. Mrs. Ma Olebera. Feel free to call in on our number 081 606 36187. Once more, 081 606 36187. When you call in, be smart, be civil. Let's pick that call. Big call. Hello and welcome to Zanders FM 105.7. What's your name? It's gone. It's gone. Hello? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm Kingsley calling from Italy.
Good morning.
You're
Good
welcome.
morning. Good morning.
Good morning, and you're welcome.
Yeah, I love the discussion. You see, this government, both at federal and state level, they are not only confused. This is a bunch of things. I think Nigeria, we have not seen a thing like this. They are not serious. They are not interested in education. So all these things that are doing is just keep last time. You know, last time they bring this guideline today, tomorrow they can't buy it. And there is nothing feasible. They are doing nothing to show forth. Look at all the money donated for coronavirus, people donated. What have they done with this money? After have they given any account of this money? You see, we should stop wasting our time. You see, I don't know. But the truth is that we don't have a government that is interested in the people.
Kingsley.
We don't have it.
Kingsley.
We don't have it.
Hello?
Time has come, we begin to pray for a change. Thank you and God bless you.
Okay, well, that's okay. I wanted to ask you a question, Kingsley, but you dropped. Well, madam, you heard what he said.
Yes.
He's talking about all the money that came in That's how do we now align this to the topic?
Yeah, because the money donated is still in line with what we are discussing.
Okay.
The money could have also been channeled into our educational system and not just health and education.
Yes.
But they keep donating, they keep looting and relooting. That's the problem we have with this government. Look at what is happening in the country today. Everywhere corruption. It has become our way of life. It has eaten deep into the fabrics of Nigerians that they no longer see it as a crime, but a way of life. Just because these leaders don't have the fear of God. They don't lead with human feelings.
Yes.
Very insensitive to the suffering of ordinary Nigerians. So unfortunate.
Well, that is very, very unfortunate. We don't know that somebody must change the system somehow.
Yeah,
And
we thought that by the time Buhari came with all the integrity they said he's coming to, we thought he could have sanitized the situation, but he's there. All these things are happening before him. Is he not in charge?
Okay.
What? Oh, I don't want to go into
Okay,
that
let's,
area
okay.
before
Okay.
he says
Yes, I don't want us to deviate much from our
Okay.
topic.
All
Our
right.
topic
Yes.
is the lockdown of schools, the effects on educational system. And I want to ask this question. Now, if schools were on by now, examinations would have been written. WAEC examination would have come and gone. Professional exams, I'm sure, also would have come and gone. You know better.
I know.
And then the primary 6 examinations and all that.
Sure.
Now, well, the world is at almost a level playing ground now, but just that in some other client there's better preparation.
Yes.
There's online learning going on, like you mentioned earlier on, and all that. But I still believe that necessity is a mother of invention. What can we do within our own local environment to get these students come back to classroom? I am more bothered about that.
Now, what we are supposed to do to get our children back, we can't. We've deviated from our responsibilities. Let money be pumped into education. Into education. Money, enough money to take care of all these our needs in the education sector.
Yes.
Okay, for instance, we are now talking of social distancing. How do you, and physical, let's provide enough seats, enough tables, sanitizers, hand sanitizers, face masks to our children. Then let social distancing take place. Let's ensure that these things are monitored. Let's be conscious. Let's not wait to be pleased. Maybe you are putting your mask on your chin when you are supposed to put it the right way. Maybe when you see a policeman, you put it correctly. Let's form the habit of putting it, of doing the right thing. Let's change our attitude. We need attitudinal change so that things will work. What of the teachers that take care of these children? How have they been taken care of? These teachers also need proper training and retraining. We need to train and retrain them. But all these things are relegated to the background. A teacher that is poorly paid in a poor environment, coupled with children who are not ready to learn, how do you handle such a situation?
Sorry to preempt you there, but the thing is this. Since COVID-19 started, in fact, when it first came up, people were so scared.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Sanitizers were very expensive, hand gloves were very expensive, face mask was not reachable.
Yes.
You know? But you can see all these things are everywhere now.
Yes.
So thank God to the inventing spirits and the doggedness of the Nigerian You know, let me mention the about traders and about businessmen who has come up with face masks, the more refined face mask and all that.
And it's better than the imported ones.
Yes, such proactivity is what I expect of the educational sector. That's what I expect. Now, these people have come out with different face masks. They've come out with their own local sanitizers. Why can't the educational institution also come up with something formidable so that the school system can be on? Because I put it to you, some say even the coronavirus thing is a Western. No, that is not real. It's real. That it's a Western war that we're fighting. For me, I am neither here nor here, but I know it is also real. But what I expect of the educational system and those practitioners within it is to come out with, a method, a theory, first and foremost, that is practicable, so that children can go back to schools. Because 5 months is enough for them to come up with all this. And then you happen to be one. So make suggestions like you often do, to the Ministry of Information. Probably they've not had people to really advise them properly. So you make suggestions. What would that suggestion be for schools to reopen? Because I am bothered because I have to speak on behalf of the people.
All right. For schools to open now, everybody has a responsibility. The parents have their own responsibility. The teachers are there too.
Yes.
The government, more of the responsibility rests with the government. If governments can bring money, pump money, enough money, I'm seeing all the frivolities going on in this country. A lot of them. If all the money is channeled into education, we'll not be talking all this period, 5 months, talking, coming up with this, coming up with that. If all this period, they called us together, stakeholders in education, put us together. If we need total overhaul, our educational system is burning right now. We need reorganization of our educational system. We need to reorder our values and come up with reality, with things that are real, so that our children can go back to school. Okay, for instance now, let's take for example, those in exam classes. We can start with them.
Beautiful.
We can start with those primary Cs, those taking junior S,
JSS, SSS,
and the SS3,
and final year university and all that.
We can start with those ones. When we have done what we are supposed to do, we can't just bring them back without doing what we are supposed to do. On the part of the parents should also ensure that, for example, the first mass, I was listening to the commissioner as I was coming in one of the radio stations. He was saying that they are trying to fumigate schools, that parents should get first mask, which is okay. Let parents get first mask, get whatever that is their own responsibility. And also let government do their own part. And teachers also ensure that these rules and regulations are implemented, that they are carried out, they are done the right way they're supposed to do. And ensure that no student hugs, shakes, or
no close.
Yes. Ensure that there is enough physical distancing.
Yes.
We are observing it here.
Oh yeah.
So if our students can observe it that way too, in a class if more classrooms are built, that can be possible. But we have wasted 5 good months talking things that are unimplementable. Is that the way to go?
No, that's not the way to go. Well, listeners at home, you're still on to Zanders FM 105.7, and the program remains Say It Loud with Prince Evance. My guest is no other one than Dr. Mrs. Ma Olebra. Our topic once more is lockdown of schools, the effects on the educational system. So if you want to call in, Your number once more remains 081 606 36187. 081 606 36187. So call in, tell us your opinion that you must be civil. Hello, good morning, and welcome to Zanders. What's your name? Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you, please on.
Yeah, my name is Mark.
Mark, from where?
I'm calling you from Orogwe side.
Arogwe. Go on.
Yeah, I've been listening to your program. I think it's okay. I think the problem of Nigeria is that they always put inexperienced people in some positions that they're not supposed to be there. A ministerial identification, I think we need partner people who can work hard. I listened to the commissioner this morning. It was okay talking about salary and all that. How are they going to pay this and that? But they are not even putting any pressure on how to control the problem that is there killing the Imo State University in future. They are talking about the present and they are not trying to prevent it not to happen again. Now, coming to our children going back to school.
Yeah.
If you send the final year student or what you call the YX student should go and write exam. If they write exam finish, what are they going to do with the results? Are they going to enter university with it? Are they still going to write down? I think what we need to talk about now is how to change the educational system, improve the system. When we get it right, let's go back to school. If we go back to school now, we are still going to do the same thing we were doing before. Things are not normal. They are like a woman that watch it. They need to retrain trainees. Those teachers train them. They are not giving the children what they're supposed to have. The problem is not going back to school. You're calling them to go and write wire. What are they going to write? Their heads are blocked. They have been at work for 5 months. So going back to school, I don't think it's going to write wire because at the end of the day, it will end up with expo and exam malpractice.
What is your solution? What's your solution, Mark?
My solution now is that the government to sit back, call the stakeholders for a meeting, let them put their heads together on how to revive the education system. It's not going back to school to write exam. Exam is not the problem.
All right.
Exam is not the best way to test knowledge.
Thank you very much, Mark. You can feel free to call back again. Thank you very much. Yes, you're still on to Zanders FM 105.7. The lines are still open. 081 606 36187. 081 606 36187. So, madam, you heard what the gentleman said.
No, I'm great.
Okay. Okay, let me pick that call. Hello? Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning, ma'am.
Hi, good morning, my dear.
This is Ayasha Daniel.
Okay, you're welcome.
I'm calling from the Old Market Road. I want to say something.
Yeah?
The educational system of Nigeria as a whole is burning like my mom will say, as she said that this morning. For me, it's not just only that it is burning. I think it is there totally. Because you can imagine in a teaching hospital where the road to the teaching hospital is nothing to write home about. As a medical student, the educational system there is just...
Well, that's all right. Let's pick another one and see. Hello, good morning and welcome to Zanders. What's your name?
Yeah, people are just for World Bank.
From what bank? Go on, Charles.
If I listen to something in summer, she spoke so well.
Thank you.
In governance, there are 3 days to measure the indices. And it's how well people are doing best. How well that. One is education. Number 2 is health. Number 3 is little when out of poverty. We call it human development index.
Okay.
If you look at the first scheme, the Nigerian government at the moment neglected this. That is why we are having this compromise and confusion on how to resume. Now, this number is March. I want to take it. Now, between March and year, this is the time with youth in building more structures in the schools.
That's right.
You see? Because they're not kids. And they're not, looking at other countries and copying and doing copy work. You see, if you and regime and if I'm not a regime, until we get the leaders right in this country, it is very difficult for us to. That's why people like Kudobi, I miss it so much. Until we get it right in leadership, and how do we get it right? I thank God for education and education. Education opens the mind. I want to open the mind. I want to work with them to take it for on the masses. To take for sometimes like this, and sometimes this have come.
Okay, Mark. Mark, let me ask you a question. Are you in support that schools should open or not?
I cannot be about what schools should open because they are the things that are supposed to be on ground out on ground. I live in World Bank. The health center in the year I live is only to mention about. And the department to record live. So if something happens, how do you convey the time to there?
Okay.
I'll take your time.
All right. Thank you very much. Feel free to call in again. Dr. Mrs. Malibra, you heard what Mark said there.
Yes.
Any reaction?
Start with the first person.
Okay.
Or the second person, like Mark.
Yes.
What are they going to do with this if they write exam?
What are they going to do with the certificate?
Well, the truth of the matter is that we emphasize more on certificates, but that's we have to. They have to write the exam.
Okay.
They have to get their certificate. It's very, very essential. Then he also talked about training, and I said it here.
Yes, training.
In fact, you see, many of our teachers are analog. Yes, they are not in line with digital issues.
Yes.
Many of them don't even have smartphone. They don't know what is
they don't understand the new technology.
What do we do in a situation where we are still giving our children 20th century education in the 21st century? As students of the digital age, these children can they compete adequately with their fellow students
from
in
other climes,
Ghana here or America? So we need to train them. Many of them don't even know. Some of them don't even listen to news. They don't read newspapers.
That's right.
I've been in the system. You see, government will declare public holiday today. Many of them we go to school.
Yes.
And by the time they get there, they will see that the gate is locked because they are not listening to news. They are not on ground with what is happening. So it's really a very big problem. Go to our private schools. We have so many half-baked teachers teaching our children, giving them half-baked education. What do we expect these children? What do we expect from them? So we need to train these teachers. Some of them don't even know the skills. They don't know what they're supposed to teach these children. They just come to the class, while out the time the school is over, they go back. Tomorrow, they don't write lesson notes. They don't. They keep recycling the same lesson notes every year. Every year, you see them copying the same lesson notes without making input into current realities. So it's really a very big problem to us. The other man, I saw the line was cut, but he was talking about the roads leading to Olo Hospital.
Okay, Doc, let's take this call.
Okay.
Hello. Good morning.
I'm in support of the schools being reopened, but the necessary requirements should be put in place before schools can open, especially the universities. If we are not able somewhere. I'm tired of this government. It's confused. Thank you and God bless you.
What's your name? Don't be tired.
Daniel, I'm Daniel.
Okay, Daniel. Sorry, just keep hope alive, okay? You're still on to Zanders FM 105.7, and the program is Say It Loud with Prince Evance. My guest remains the irrepressible Dr. Mrs. Mma Olebra. You heard what the young man said. He said he wants schools to open, but then the right thing must be done
Yeah,
first.
that's the solution. We can't just expose our children to danger. We can't. Let the right thing be done before we open schools. And also he talked of tired of the government. Everybody is tired. I'm tired too because they're not doing the right thing. Until the right thing is done, we've lost confidence.
Okay.
Me, I've lost.
Okay.
So unless the right thing is done, then we rekindle our interest and work in synergy.
Well, you're right, but we're all in it together. We're all in the boat together. Like you said originally, the whole training starts from home.
Yes.
I'm sure you remember when you mentioned that.
Yes.
Fine. So, by so saying, it means we're ordering the values system.
Yes.
Because for us to get it right, everybody, have to put hands together.
Yeah.
For if at all we must get it right. But all the same, I do know that a state such as Cross River State has not recorded any probable coronavirus incident. And yet, in that state, schools are still locked down. So I don't understand. Must the African man continue to wait until he is told what to do before he does anything? So why can't we be creative? Why can't government and the educational system come out with something? I quite agree that the infrastructure has to be put in place and all that. But for how long will this take, madam, to put this infrastructure? You did mention also that the United Nations, recommended 26%, as budget for educational system, for every country. But we're not really meeting up. But even the much that is given, is it used? Is it being implemented?
Well, that's the corruption we are talking about in this country. When the head is rotten, the whole body is rotten.
And then the children suffer the brunt.
Yeah, who bears when two elephants
fight, grass gets hot.
So our children are bearing the brunt because our leaders have failed us. They have derailed. They have left undone those things we are supposed to do. Everybody has his or her own share of the blame.
Okay, the young man that spoke last, Daniel, equally mentioned that, since university students are adults, we could experiment by opening up the universities and tertiary institutions.
Under this situation. Is it under this situation? Same situation we are talking about?
But they're adults, they still go to church, they go to marketplaces.
Yes. But we need to do the things we are supposed to do before we allow them to go back to school. The fumigation we talked about, let them fumigate the schools, give it enough time to settle, ensure that social distancing and physical distancing are in place.
Yes, observe and well inculcated.
Just follow the rules and regulations. And if we can observe those things, we can start with our higher institutions.
We're still on 081-606-36187. 081-606-36187. The last caller now will be the last lucky caller because we will not take any other call. We have just very few minutes to go. But before the call comes in, let me ask this question. Doc, the teachers, you were a teacher.
Yeah, I was.
You taught in primary and secondary school, university, or what?
In fact, I taught both primary and secondary.
You taught both in primary and secondary school.
As a principal special class.
Okay, so you that's a rank of a director, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fine. Let me take that last caller before I come in. Hello, good morning and welcome. What's your name? It's gone. Michael Para, how are you? Okay, Nick, you have just 1 minute. Yes.
When you make a plan, you should have a plan.
Okay.
In some countries that have reopened, you notice that after that there was a spike.
Mm.
Now, the government didn't do what it should do in the first place. If there is a spike, do they have any plan?
Mm.
You're talking about physical distancing. Can you achieve that in the schools where you have dilapidated infrastructure? These 5 months would have been enough for them to put some of the infrastructure that we are missing. And then we start talking about reopening schools. Fumigation, is it just one time fumigation? In other times, what they do is that at the end of every day or let's say week, they decontaminate the classrooms. Can our government effectively do that for government schools? Let alone the private schools.
Okay. Okay. You're saying that schools should not reopen for now.
No, if what I'm trying to say is this, let them put down infrastructure. And even if they want to reopen schools, they should have plans on ground to handle eventualities.
Mm.
And I don't think that they have it. If they didn't have the main plan till now, the each plan may not be there.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You're our last caller for today. Don't forget to stay tuned and call in next week. Thank you very much. Dr. Ma, did you hear him?
Yes,
Okay.
the
You want to react?
dilapidated nature of our schools infrastructure. You see, we are now talking about schools within.
Mm.
Go to our rural areas and see where our children are exposed to in the name of teaching and learning. How can teaching and learning take place in such an environment that is not conducive for learning? In fact, I'm just tired, like the other person said, tired of this government. They are toying with the glorious destinies of our children. They are playing politics with the education of our children. And it's really a thing of shame that those who benefited superfluously from education are treating education this way. Well, that's the situation we have found ourselves with the current leaders who care less about education. I'm not surprised with what we are seeing.
Okay, but should government put some of this infrastructure in place, and at least you support that certain level of education can reopen?
Yeah, if they come up with some modalities that are implementable, do the things they're supposed to, we can allow our children to come back to school. But as it is now, let no parents take his or her child to school under this situation unless the right thing is done.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Mrs. Ma Olebra. You have been my wonderful guest today. So irrepressible you are.
Very much.
It's really nice having you on this program.
Thank you.
For you, my listeners at home, and those that followed us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, the program is, as always, your Monday tonic. Say it loud with Prince Evance on Zanders FM 105.7. And until next week, when I shall be coming your way again with another wonderful guest, please don't touch that dial. Remain blessed. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great.
Now, because just give me a